Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is a special presentation. Tonight is a breakdown of Daniel 9:25. I had like 3 or 4 people wanted me to ask me about it, and so I'm just gonna go in and break it down, so so we can get it right. So it's I'm asking everybody to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification button. And welcome and shalom to everybody. Like I said, this discussion is very, very important because it exposes the Greeks and the Romans and the Edomites for what they have done to the Tanakh, to the Old Testament, better known as the Holy Scriptures. So with that being said, I'm going to do my moment of silence and prayer and the Psalms and current events before we get started. Okay. Oh Lord, we pray unto the Lord, my God. We make our confessions, O Lord, great and dreadful God, keeping covenant and mercy to them that love thee and to them that keep thy commandments. O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us a confusion of face, as it is this day, to the men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all Israel that are near and that are far off, through all the countries whither thou hast driven us, because of our trespass, that we have trespassed against thee. As it is written in the laws of Moses, all this evil is come upon us, in the land of our captivity, here in the Americas, the Caribbean, Great Britain, and Africa. O Lord, according to all thy righteousness, I beseech thee, that thy anger and thy fury be turned away from thy city of Jerusalem, and thy people, and thy holy mountain. O Lord, hear this prayer, and cause thy face to shine upon thy sanctuary and thy people, for the Lord's sake. O Lord, open thine eyes, and incline thine ears to hear, and to behold our condition. O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive. O Lord, hearken and do. Defer not, for thine own sake. O my Lord, for thy people and your land need you desperately at this hour. Peace be unto you. Okay, we'll do the Psalms. Okay. Let's say this is Psalms 4. It's an evening prayer of trust in God. It's a Psalm of David. Hear me when I call, O God, of my righteousness. Thou hast enlarged me when I was in distress. Have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. O ye sons of men, how long will ye turn my glory into shame? How long will ye love vanity and seek after leasing? Selah, but know that the Lord hath set apart him that is godly for himself. The Lord will hear when I call unto him. Stand in awe and sit not and sin not. Commune with your own heart upon your bed and be still. Selah, offer the sacrifices of righteousness and put your trust in the Lord. There be many that say, who will show us any good? Lord, lift thou up the light of thy countenance upon us. Thou hast put gladness in my heart, more than in the time that their corn and their wine increased. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep, for thou, Lord, only maketh me dwell in safety. That's our Psalm 4. It's our evening prayer to trust in the Lord. Okay. Okay, yeah, current events. Everybody got any current events? Okay, I got this right here. Like I said, we seen how those people I was telling you about this thing they call halogen dialectic, and it's where they keep on bringing something, a problem in front of your face, to make you act on it, and then finally when you act on it, then they bring it to you, and that's what they want to do all the time. So we see right here all these gun shootings. You know, they really intensified. There was a lot of them in the past, but they really intensified once Biden came off. So right here it says, enough. Biden renews calls for gun control bill after San Joe's rail yard shooting. So President Joe Biden urges Congress to pass stricter gun control measures following the latest mass shootings at the Northern California rail yard on Wednesday, in which 8 people were shot. Right. So here we go. Right here. It says, "Now I have the solemn duty of yet again of ordering the flag to be lowered at half staff just weeks after doing so following the mass shootings at spas in and around Atlanta, in a grocery store in Boulder, Colorado, at home in Rock Hill, South Carolina, and at the FedEx facility in Indianapolis, Indiana," Biden said in the statement. So that's the punchline right there. So they brought you all these events, one after another one. Uh, they know it's going to be a problem getting those guns, but uh, they had it. So it says a public transit employee opened fire on the co-workers at the downtown San Joe's rail yard. Somebody doing the most rail yard Wednesday, killing 8 people before taking his own life at the scene. Authorities said the shooting comes amid a year-long rise in nationwide gun violence and record firearm sales. The shooter was identified as Samuel Cassidy, an employee at the Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority, law enforcement sources say. So, like I was saying, you see the setup, and now Biden coming out with you know, to make a move on it, and that's in telling a lot of other things because what they getting ready to do is going to bring people out in the streets, but they don't want them to have guns. So they've been setting this up for a while. It's tied to a lot of other stuff. Any comments?
I don't see Esau giving up that gun.
Yeah, they know that. They know that, but they said they gotta have they gotta set a case to say why they out, why they trying to get the guns, and they making it. They're doing this right here with all these uh, uh, gun cases, people shooting the, back to back to back, make it look like they really got to do something about it. But the whole time they set it up, the whole thing up.
Right.
Yeah,
But but they just want to take the guns from the people so that they can force their will upon the folks.
right. Yeah, that's. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They don't want no all out war.
Right. But I
Right,
think it's going to be more gun bloodshed before they have their way. I honestly do.
right. Well, it's almost it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't, because they want to reduce the population too. So
Right.
you know they got you catch 22.
Mhm.
Okay.
Another thing, there's an ample amount of jobs and apparently not enough people because everybody talking about don't nobody want to work.
Yeah, after they've been giving that money away, yeah, they don't want to work
Yeah.
and giving them all that unemployment money.
Well, Texas governor declined. Uh, what's that? The money they was giving to the people to add on to the unemployment. He
Right.
declined. Yeah, he denied. He ain't taking no more money because he see these folks don't want to go to work.
Ain't there something?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So with this next thing I got is it's tied to anybody familiar with Astra. You know anything about? You ever heard of that?
What's that?
Astra.
Uh-uh.
It's in Second Ezra. Said that the ten tribes came to a place called Ashtaroth, and they said that Ashtaroth is America.
Okay. Okay.
After they did the captivity, and after the king of Assyria took them and to Assyria, and they stayed there, they left Assyria. They didn't go back to Israel. They said they went to a place, a year's journey, and they ended up in a place called Ashtaroth. And they said that place they went was America. That's why he said that's where you get the 10 tribes doctrine. That the 10 tribes is over. He was over in America when Columbus got here. 10 tribes was here.
Yeah, I heard that before.
Right. So they were saying that and they got a lot of people that's they bent on that saying that. But I'm gonna show you this right here. So we're gonna watch some of it, and this is one of those things I was saying. Well, when the truth comes, you gotta deal with it. So my point on this, see this Ephraim thing right here. I was reading in Ezekiel 37, where when the Most High resurrect all Israel, and he says that I'm gonna read it in a minute after we get off this, but it says that Ephraim will no longer vex Judah. When you understand who Ephraim is, he comes out of Joseph. He one of Joseph's sons, and Joseph got a double portion when they got to the land of Israel. He got Ephraim got land and Manasseh got land. Joseph had 2 lots. So Ephraim is to Joseph just like Judah is to Jacob. So they 2 are heads. So they bumping heads. That's what caused the 2 tribes. That was the reason why the tribes split. You had the 2 kingdoms because Ephraim kept bumping heads with Manasseh, with Judah. So keep that in mind.
Yes, because there's 2 trains of thought that I've heard people say. Some people have made the claim that some Israelites still are on the West Coast. Some Israelites say they're all gone out of there. So what do you think the validity? You think that there's still some there? So a lot of Israelites.
Just go back to the words. I told you I didn't mess the words up. Check this out.
In southern Nigeria, and in the country next door used to be called Dahomey. Right, I've read about Dahomey. Yeah, but now called Benin. Benin. In fact, that word Benin is a corruption or contraction from the Hebrew word Benaim Ephraim.
See that?
Which means the children of.
So that's Ephraim right here. Now Ephraim got a hatred for Judah. The people that came here to America is Judah, predominantly Judah. So Ephraim got an abnormal hatred, just like Esau do. Ephraim got an abnormal hatred for them. So look who Ephraim is.
Now that's in your book. Yes, I came across that. In fact, that word Benin is a corruption or contraction from the Hebrew word Benaim Ephraim.
See that?
Which means the children of Ephraim. Now that's in your book. Yes, I came across that.
So what he just told you, see that? Nigeria. See that? The Nigerians. Everybody want to know what's this thing with the Nigerians with the African Americans. There it is. I was telling you that. I was telling you that I was telling you that a while back. But there it is right there in the face. I don't even think they really know what they're saying. But anyway, yeah. We'll keep going. Ooh, what's going on? Okay.
In fact, that word Benin is a corruption or contraction from the Hebrew word Benaim Ephraim, which means the children of Ephraim. Now that's in your book. Yes, I came across that.
So let me read that right quick. I'm in Ezekiel 37. Ezekiel 37. So this when he regather us, all those situations that have been going on with Israel still exist to this day. And so when he regather us, he got to fix all that. So I'm in 37, and this is verse 15. See, the word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah. I told you that. That's us over here in America. And for the children of Israel and his companions, that's Judah, Benjamin, Levi. That's the southern kingdom, his companions, right? And then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph. I told you Joseph had two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. So and for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, see? And for all his and for all the house of Israel and his companions. So that's Ephraim is over the 10 tribes, and that's his companion. Say, and join them one to another in one stick, and they shall become one in thy hand. And when the children of thy people speak unto thee, saying, Wilt thou show us what thou meanest by these? Say unto them, Thus said the Lord God, Behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribe of Israel and his fellows, and I will put them with them, even the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in my hand. And the sticks whereupon thou writest shall be in thine hand before thy eyes. So see right there, he's gonna fix that issue right there. So here go another situation. And like I say, everybody is looking over this. Chapter 7, Isaiah. Chapter 7, verse 1. It came to pass in the days of Ahaz, the son of Jotham, that's the son of Uzi, king of Judah, right? That Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel, went up toward Jerusalem to war against it, but could not prevail. So this guy right here is out of Ephraim, and he's joined with the Syrians to go fight against Judah. So this way back in Isaiah. This is how long Ephraim had this fixation on Judah and had a problem with Judah all the way back here. So then when you look at it, and you see that, you come to find out that's who the Nigerians are. Ephraim.
And we got Gadites, coming in the truth now, brothers and sisters. A lot of them say, a lot of brothers and sisters say those are not Israelites.
Verse 45, for through that country there is a great way to go, namely of a year and a half.
This is the verse I'm talking about in 2nd Ezra.
And the same region is called Arsareth.
Arsareth. So if you go right now onto Google and pull up the Jewish Encyclopedia.
These Israelites now.
Then inside the Jewish Encyclopedia, punch in the word Arsareth. All right? Spell that out for them.
Arsareth.
Put that in the Jewish Encyclopedia and America will come up. That's the name they used to call the Americas, Arsareth.
First, we will deal with the Columbus claim. The Jewish Encyclopedia states that Columbus identified America as
Columbus an Edomite.
This land called Arsareth. It also names the source of this information as being a book called Christopher Columbus by K. Serlings. If you research for yourself, the claim is actually false. On page 15 of this book, it doesn't claim that America is Arsareth at all, but only states that he, meaning Christopher Columbus, was fond of reading the Bible and the 4th book of Ezra.
According to the Book of Mormon, after his resurrection, Jesus came to the Americas to preach to the Indians, who the Mormons believe are really Israelites. Thus, the Jesus of Mormonism established his church in the Americas as he had in Palestine.
So anyway, let me get over here.
Of a glory that has maintained a dynasty.
So here we go. So this guy found that strip. Okay. Okay. Can y'all hear me? Hello.
We hear you.
Which is further down, and you have this Kenny area. That's right there. Go from Kenny. Fight to Benin, which is Benin Ephraim, sons of Ephraim, slave coast. Now, bring up some more, trying to see it. The kingdom. Right there. Go to more, bring it close to us. Move it to the bring it back up again. Close right there. Where it says slave coast. That's it. Over slave coast. Right there. Kingdom of Judah. Or wider, this is Judah again, slave coast. Kingdom of Judah, slave coast. Wider.
So I keep on showing you, the prophecy in Jeremiah that we're going back to the West Coast.
It's in North Africa.
So this guy tracked down.
And its coordinates, you can see down at the bottom. And here's more of his coordinates. Portus Magnus in the city again. Right here highlighted by another brother in the video who was diligently searching for Osiris, but he couldn't find it on any of his maps. But guess what though? I found it. Alright, we see Osiris right here in its coordinates. It is bounded on the east by Africa along the Ampsagus River. Remember that, Ampsagus River. You can see here the coordinates, map of the Osiris River. And see, this brother here was getting frustrated. He was like, where's the Osiris River at? Because he had the coordinates, but it wasn't on the map, you know? He was thinking maybe they took it off, trying to hide it. But guess what? It's been found. Here's a map from Claudius Ptolemy. This is a map that I'm pretty sure a lot of people haven't seen, but I came across it the other day in my search. And it was copied again in 1478 AD. Let's take a closer look at it. You see here, this is Northwest Africa, the Algeria and Morocco area. And up at the top left, you can see that's Portugal, Spain area. But let's take a closer look. Look what we got here. Remember the Ampsaga River?
So this is Astra right here, but watch where it's at. Watch where it's located.
Right there. Awesome.
It is right there.
North Algeria on the shore. Osiris has been found. Camps have been teaching in error, saying that America is Osiris.
He ain't leave no stone uncovered. He lied all over the place.
All these Hispanic people, children of conquistadors, are Israelites. Now, there's nothing wrong with people want to take hold of the covenant and keep commandments, because everybody gonna have to do that in the end anyway, because the Most High's laws are righteous, His commandments are good. But to teach that they are descendants and using the false 12 tribes chart, that we already knew was false, they teaching in error, man. Let's continue. I have another map too, by Martin Waldseemüller from 1507. And on his map, he documents Osiris as well. As you can see, this is Africa. Let's take a closer look. And bam, in the same spot, Osiris.
So what we're looking at is all this time, all the finagling and the hoodwinking they've been dealing with Africa is cause of this. We was thinking it's something else, but it's this. That's what Israelites said. That's what all Israelites said. That's what they've been all the time. Okay?
Right there. Osiris. See the rivers and all that.
And the Most High telling us, like I said,
most of us already knew.
He said beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. Watch what it said.
The camps was teaching errors, but now we have solid confirmation written where Osiris is. We ain't got to guess no more.
Northwest Africa, and that whole West Africa region.
See that?
And
everything keep going back to West Africa.
Look and see what people were there, because the 10 tribes.
Any comments? Get all this.
Yes. Can you see what those coordinates are?
Those what?
Here? Can you see what those coordinates are?
I didn't.
You can't see? Where's that located? In other words, where's that located? I didn't see the coordinates.
It's Morocco. Morocco.
What?
Yeah, it's Morocco. Yeah, right up where same. I've been saying this. I've been saying this over and over again. That's where Mansa Musa came from. Out of there.
Jeez, when I went to Africa, the plane left from New York and went to we stayed the night in Morocco.
Okay, ain't that something?
Yeah.
Yeah, using holy ground.
Okay.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else got any comments on that?
Well, I came in a little bit late, but it's just amazing that, you know, what you have been telling us, it's all just unfolding, and it's all pointing to the west coast of Africa.
Right. What we was dealing with was in the second Ezra, four Ezra, about the claim that the Israelite 10 tribes came here to America. The places in America at that time was called Ashtaroth, but we done found out where Ashtaroth really is.
Okay.
In Africa. Right. So like I said, not only did they hoodwink the Tanakh and the Old Testament, they hoodwinked all the other books too. Yeah.
Who is the presenter, Leonard?
What do you mean?
Who is the person that's talking on the video?
That's I think it's camera.
Better than that, what's the name of the video?
It's Camera Action, or either Astro, or where Africa or America.
Okay.
Yeah. So this other video is about. I was telling you how when we started seeing Dr. Arcana would come in on the scene and disappear. When she come on the scene, there's a cue. You got to start paying attention. So she back on the scene with this video right here.
Notice her complexion too.
Right. Just gonna play bits and pieces of it.
There was a call that came that I could not get off. I had to take the call. My sincere apologies for keeping you all waiting. My apologies, Your Majesty, for keeping you waiting as well. I simply could not get off this particular call. Welcome, everyone. Today is a very important day. It is the culmination of what we have been trying to do as ADDI for the past 12 months. We are now in a position that we can bring all of you together to begin the journey to the realization of the building of the city of return, the Wakanda One city of return in Cape Coast, Ghana. Cape Coast, Ghana, which is an appropriate place to start this conversation, because for those of you who are not in the know, the children of Africa were taken out of Africa as slaves. 80% of them left Africa through Ghana. Those who were taken to North America, they left through the dungeons. They call them the Cape Coast castles. We call them Cape Coast dungeons. They left through the port at Cape Coast. And those who were taken to the Caribbean and South America, they left through a port that's about 20 kilometers from Cape Coast, called Elmina. Again, they call them Elmina castles. We call them Elmina dungeons. It is so fitting that the president of Ghana, President Nana Addo, felt it necessary, after declaring 2019 year of return, he declared 2020 beyond the return. And with that in mind, the president of Ghana reached out to the mayor of Cape Coast and the kingdom of Asebu and the other two kingdoms in the area and asked them to realize the construction of the city of return in Cape Coast. Why Cape Coast? Because that is the place that the majority of the ancestors last set foot on the African soil. It is fitting, therefore, that the descendants of the formerly enslaved must have a home in this region where they can stay, where they can stand on that soil and the dungeons.
So they speak in scripture right here, don't even know it.
Look across the Atlantic, straight at the invaders, straight at the slavers, and let them know that while you may have succeeded for over 400 years, when it's all said and done, the descendants of the formerly enslaved are the ultimate victors, for they will have come back home to Africa. They will have come back home to that very same place their ancestors last set foot on the African soil.
That prophecy going over everybody.
This is a pilgrimage, my brothers and sisters. Exactly. A pilgrimage that we hope we will partake every year, where the children of Africa shall never.
So let's look at that, because I was saying how people don't understand the magnitude of the things that's transpiring and what's going on right now. We Israelites, and you got all these people saying that they're Israelites. They say they're awakening the Israelites. Well, if you're an Israelite, and you know about Deuteronomy 28, then you're in a captivity. So you have to understand, when they was in Egypt, they was in a captivity. They couldn't stay in Egypt. They couldn't stay in Egypt. It was gonna come a time when you had to relocate. So you can't do like the Chinese and the Irishmen and all them people that came here and start digging you a hole and you're gonna be there. We're not gonna be here. We gotta leave. Joseph told our forefathers in Egypt that the Lord coming to get you. Mm-hmm. We got a living God that's over us. He got a home. Where his home at ours is. So we can't never set up no long-term thing thinking that we're gonna do this and that. And especially now, because the time is up. He said he's gonna turn our captivity. We see the captivity being turned. We're not gonna be here. How can you believe, understand you're Israelite, but you still making all these plans to be here? And acting as if, you like he said, he made us we homeborn slaves. And he's gonna take us out of here, and that's what the same thing happening that manifested this in front of the whole world in Africa, in Egypt, getting ready to manifest itself right now. And so, like I was saying before, when you understand what's really going on, this woman said they building. She's saying this Wakanda 1 city, but the blueprint and all that is saying village. Ain't that what the Most High said in 38? We're gonna be living in unwalled villages. Right. When they come and get us, and we already see we headed that way. It's all the stuff they're doing. We headed that way. We headed over there, and we're not going over there and not have the adequate facilities. They sending us over there with the understanding that the whole world and abuse us. So they're gonna set us up. That's what the Most High telling you in 38. We get over there and get set up, and then they're gonna say, well, what they doing? We going to take smart. Let me read it. And it's word for word. You're looking right at it in front of your face. So I'm in Ezekiel 38, and he says, verse 10, thus says the Lord God, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall a thing come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest. See that? We done been through all kind of hell. They finally saying they're going to send us back, and then we finally away from our oppressors, and we at rest. And it says that dwell safely. That's what this Wakanda 1 thing all about. all of them dwelling without walls and having neither walls nor gates, to take a spoil and to take a prey and to turn thy hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited and upon the people that are gathered out of the nation. See that? Gathered out of the nation, which have gotten cattle, goods that dwell in the midst of the land. See that? And so at that same time, when they get ready to come and try to do what they done to us when they came and got us on the West Coast the first time, it ain't gonna happen. That's how close we are. So, like I was saying before, you think you got time for Antichrist to come in there?
No.
Ain't no room enough for no Antichrist. For nobody coming on no white horse.
I have a question or a statement, Leonard.
What you got?
So one of the things that I'm struggling with as I anticipate our going to the west coast of Africa is I have land, I have real estate here. And how do I think about so what I'm thinking to be a dual citizen, but that thinking is probably wrong. Probably once the Most High takes us away from here, I don't think we're going to be coming back. Is that which one of those ways should I be thinking? I kind of think I know which one. And so I'm just trying to decide what to do with the real estate, because it's kind of been ingrained in my head that you don't just give up land.
Right.
So I'm kind of challenged in that area in terms of what do I do with the land.
Yeah, it goes back to thinking like a Hebrew, like I was saying before, what they got us doing with just with this thing where we just dealt with Ashtaroth. They got us thinking that we just like all the rest of the people on the earth, on the planet, but we ain't. So we have laws and statutes and judgments around us. So we know that we can't go off and marry nobody else out of some other race, right? We can't do that. And then we know about our land over there. After if I sell some of my land to somebody else in another tribe, 50 years on the Jubilee, that land got to go back. So when they was in Egypt, when the Lord of hosts came and got them out of Egypt, he told them, you can't never go back to the land of Egypt no more. You see, after that, every time they went to Egypt, he went there and killed them. He told them that's what Zedekiah was trying to go. Zedekiah he told Zedekiah Jeremiah told them, you're going to Babylon and you're going to submit to the king of Babylon for 70 years.
Right.
The king of Babylon, his son and his grandson, Zedekiah and his sons and all them tried to run and go to Egypt. And they got killed. They got their eyes plucked out. So like I was saying before, the land, even when they came and got them out of Egypt, no matter how long they had been there, that wasn't none of their land. And so whatever they had acquired and whatever position they was in, they had to cough it up. They had to go. And then he told them, you ain't gonna see this no more. So you gotta imagine. And another example was Jeremiah. People don't understand that Jeremiah was a spouse to a woman. Then when the Most High came, when he came and called Jeremiah, he told him, you ain't a spouse to no woman.
Right.
Like just like that. So Jeremiah had to come to terms with that. So he wrestled with it, but he had to come to terms with it. But because he instead of trying to explain to her that she got to go on live her life and do something else, because he belonged to Yahweh, to the Lord of hosts. But she wasn't understanding it. So that's what I was saying about the movie Jeremiah. If you want to watch it, they showing you all that because they got our records. So yeah, Jeremiah was a spouse to a wife, but that's not explained, and you don't get that. And when he tell him that, you don't understand that Jeremiah had It was a spouse to a woman.
Right.
Looking for having keys and all that. And when the Lord came to him, when you read it in Jeremiah, he came to him and told him, you ain't a spouse no woman no more.
Right.
That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah.
So
That's
so
how that
Nana,
goes.
when the when the Babylonians was coming to take them into captivity, and Jeremiah he still bought that plot of land. Did he buy, was that land in Egypt? What was that?
Yeah, that was in Israel. And
Okay.
matter of fact, it's holy land. You know, like I said, you go to Ezekiel. Just go back to understanding who the suffering servant is with this. I'm in chapter 41, Ezekiel. You got it? Chapter 41. Okay, so it says, it's a measure of the temple. It says, it's telling you all, it says, afterwards, he brought me, verse 1, he brought me to the temple and measured the posts, 6 cubits broad, and then verse 2, the doors and all that, 3. Then when he inward and the posts, the doors, and 4, he measured the length thereof 30 cubits, and the breadth 20 cubits before the temple. And he said unto me, this is the most holy place. After he measured it, the walls of the house, let me find this, get on down the doors. Okay. See, chapter 45.
45.
Right.
Okay.
Says a portion of the land to be saved for the Lord. Who the Lord is.
The Lord of hosts.
Right. So where he dwells at?
Mount
Zion?
the temple, or
he dwelled at Mount Zion. He was there before the Israelites even came.
Right.
So when Moses came there, he told Moses, take your shoes out. This area where I'm at is holy.
Mm-hmm.
So when they started building the temple, they plotted out and marked off an area just for him. That's what he's telling you right here. Moreover, when you shall divide by lot the land for inheritance, you shall offer an oblation unto the Lord, a holy portion of the land. See that? They read over it. So he's telling them, part of this land mine. I was already here, but and you got inheritance, the 12 lots, but part of it is mine. But if you keep on reading it, then it's a part of it is allotted off for the Levites and Aaron's seed. So they belong to him now.
Right.
So that's what that land. That's part of the land what Jeremiah was dealing with. Jeremiah was a priest. He's a Levite. Yeah. So yeah. So let me play some more of this.
But again, forget what was done to our ancestors. We'll never ever forget the carnage that took place.
So I'm gonna go to the. Okay. Listen what she said.
Dr. Aracana looked like she putting bleach cream on her face.
Get into Ghana and overall, ultimately, to get into the country.
Probably got out of the sun.
With your back covered. So you never have to worry about who is going to take what from you. Because you're part of the family. And we're going to cover each other. You're going to hear from Our Majesty. He is going to reiterate they're committed to welcoming you home. Welcoming you home with a red carpet.
Yeah.
That's what this conversation is about.
Welcome
all of you to ADDI and welcome home to Ghana and welcome home to Africa. Thank you.
Okay, so that's Dr. Arcana to shock African leaders for coming together of the diaspora and build Wakanda. You want to check it out?
Wow.
Okay, so
Now look at her complexion. She wasn't like that before.
yeah,
Right.
I think she was out in the sun a lot, and then now she ain't. That's what I think.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, she's
Well, you know,
out
the
and
other thing that's going on is the African people are bleaching themselves.
They outlawed that in some of them countries over there, but she's not in Africa. She over there in what, Tennessee?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
But she was in Africa a lot, and the sun over there it's way worse than
oh,
over here.
Right.
Right.
okay.
So, and then that'll be crazy if she is bleaching herself the way she talking.
Mm.
And her
She's
approach.
she
Yeah.
really sounds like a parrot. I mean, I know that what she's doing is in line with what the Most High has told to us, but she really sounds like a parrot, really. I mean, it's almost, you can almost see it.
Right. Right. So we didn't got to the point now where we at the class. And what it is I was telling some people asked me to do a breakdown on Daniel 9:25. So I'm gonna give you first the Christian narrative of Daniel 9:25. Then we're gonna go into it and break it down, break it up in pieces. So let me give you this. I get creative. With me. Daniel chapter number 9, verse number 25. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of a commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks, and 62 weeks. The streets shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublous times. We can see here, we lunge even deeper into this 70-week prophecy. And the angel Gabriel is telling Daniel that from the time of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem. Now, what time was that? If we go through our scriptures, we actually find that there were 3 different times. Cyrus, the king of Persia, actually issued an edict in Ezra chapter number 1. You can go back, Ezra chapter number 6. Darius finds the decree that Cyrus had issued where the work was halted. That's a second time. And the third time in the book of Nehemiah, where, now did you hear what he said? This dude right here just said, Darius found the proclamation what Cyrus had made. He's associating that with Daniel 9:25. Now watch this. Artaxerxes issued the decree, and Nehemiah went back to finish the work. So when you look, you have those 3 decrees to go back and finish the work of the temple. Now, it's important to know what the exact start date is of the commandment or the edict to rebuild the temple. And some really good materials that you can look at for that. And one of those material is Gavin Finley's EndTimePilgrim.com. That's a very good resource if you wanted to dig into that subject. So we suggest that you look at that. And also, we're going to bring up the point that we can see here that the scripture talks about there were 7 weeks
and 62 weeks. Notice the scripture does not state that there was 69 weeks or 69 weeks. It distinctly gives a separation period. This suggests that there could have been a break in the time period from the commandment to the Messiah. And like we said, if you study, you will see a lot of people trace that back to when Christ actually wrote.
Where you now? You just say it. There is found a decree. There is, let me read it. It's the decree right here. I'm in Daniel 9:25. Says, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of a commandment to restore and build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks, 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublesome time. They in Babylon. And Nebuchadnezzar, they got in Babylon because Nebuchadnezzar and Nebuchadnezzar came and tore the city up and broke the wall down. So they're going to be in Babylon for 70 years. And then now, this 9:25 is telling you they're going to come back. Daniel 9:25 saying somebody going to make a proclamation or a decree for them to go back, and the streets going to be built again and the wall. And he just said that. Now y'all be what Jesus Christ said. And you just read and you just see that in Daniel 9:25 is talking about when they leave Babylon to come back and build Jerusalem up again. He ain't talking about when the time of Christ. He just said that. Now you're over here trying to bring Christ in the picture. Check it out.
Rode into Jerusalem on the donkey or the ass's coat.
Now,
so
let's look at that.
We can see here.
Let's look at that. So Zechariah and Zechariah, I just showed you that 9:25 is talking about they in Babylon. They got to come out of Babylon. The city was tore down. They went to Babylon for 70 years. They got to come back and build it back up. Well, when they left Babylon, Zechariah and Haggai is with whoever this Messiah is. Zechariah and Haggai with him when they came back. And it's only one way back then they was going to get back to Jerusalem, riding upon asses. That's what they rode on. They ain't have no SUVs and airplanes. So the only way when they finally had the decree from Cyrus to go back, they all went back. Zechariah and Haggai with the Messiah. So if Zechariah with the Messiah, whoever he is, then Zechariah gonna tell you that in his book that he wrote. Zechariah ain't gonna put it in Hosea book. He gonna write it in his book. So let's see what that Zechariah said. When you understand that. So I'm in Zechariah. See how simple that is? I'm in Zechariah. So chapter 9, he says, verse 9, rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Who was the daughter of Zion? The Israelites that were taken to Babylon. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem, behold, thy king cometh unto thee. He is just, having salvation, lowly, riding upon an ass, upon the coat of an ass. See that? So whoever the Messiah is came back with Zechariah. When Zechariah came back, him and Haggai, he came back riding on the ass, and he telling the people he come here on his way. However long it take them to get from Babylon to get back to Jerusalem, they already left Babylon. They're on their way. They coming. He coming on a donkey. Come on. So look, like I said, we know this is what they've done.
Might have been an interrupted time period.
See that?
Because the time period is interrupted. That's one of those little tidbits to pray about. In the name of Jesus, God, we bless you.
You got to think about that. I don't know about nobody else, but You got to think about all the time wasted in Sunday school and BTU and all that.
Yes.
Come on, man. And he just said, you just answered your own question. Now you all over here trying to make this dude fit in something that it's crazy.
Right.
Hold on. Yeah.
It even sounds crazy.
Right. Yeah. Now you got the truth. Yeah. So I'm gonna play another one, a bit more of this other one. See, I can't stay on here long. He's found here. Okay.
All right, we have a question from Bruce. He wants to ask about the subject of the abomination of desolation. He asks this: the prophesied abomination of desolation, which occurs in the midst of the week, upon fulfillment, will be such an obvious, unmistakable, red letter trigger event that many Messianic believers are on edge before each Pesach, looking for the erection of an altar and its dedication and desecration at the beginning of Jacob's trouble. He asks this, though: should we not first be looking for the covenant to be confirmed with many for 1 week, which will precede the abomination? He says,
okay, so that's enough of that. So we see right there. He said he waiting on the week. He waiting on the week. So here we go. I'm in second Ezra. First Maccabees. I'll read this right quick. This is out of the Apocryphal book. This is why they was taken out. So I'm in First Ezra. First Maccabees, chapter 1. Daniel prophesied him right here too. So says it came to pass after Alexander of Macedon, son of Philip, came from the land of Checham, he utterly defeated Darius. Darius is the last king of the second beast. So quite naturally, the next beast that's coming is the Greeks. It ain't before beast. So like I said, ain't no in the way in the future. Daniel is prophesying about what's getting ready to happen. It's another prophet gonna prophesy about the end times later on when it's during his lifetime. But Daniel prophesied about the third beast coming. That's what he's telling you. So here you go right here. It says it came to pass after Alexander of Macedon. That's the Greeks, the third beast. So he coming. Now I'm gonna get down here to I'm gonna read it. It says, came to pass after Alexander of Macedon, son of Philip, who came from the land of Checham, had utterly defeated Darius, the king of the Medes and Persia. That's the second beast. And he reigned in his stead, and he had before reigned over Greece. And he waged many wars and captured fortresses and slaughtered the kings of the earth. And he made his way to the ends of the earth and despoiled a multitude of nations. Let's look at that right quick. I gotta inject this. So we see what he's doing. He's running around plundering everybody. Same way they did over here and same way they did in Africa. And they came in and plundered South America, North America. So let's go back. I was telling you that Cain ain't none of Japheth ain't none of Noah's son, right? We got another example. So we're gonna see right here who these people are. It says Genesis. Okay. Genesis chapter 4, verse 10. This when Cain got cursed. He says, and he said, the Lord said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. So Cain killed his brother right here. Look what these people doing. These Greeks doing. We just read what Alexander was doing. It says, and now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. Ain't that what a vagabond do? What they doing? It says, and Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Right? Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. See? He killed Abel. Now over here is everything about killing. So let's go back and look at what these Greeks doing. So First Maccabees says, And he waged many wars, captured fortresses, slaughtered the kings of the earth, and he made his way to the ends of the earth and despoiled a multitude of nations. And the whole earth was silent before him, and he became exalted, and his heart was uplifted. He mustered a very mighty army and ruled over the lands and rulers of heathens, and he paid them tribute. Afterwards he fell sick, knew that he was going to die, so he called his distinguished servants who had been brought up with him, and divided his kingdom among them while he was still alive. Alexander had reigned 12 years when he died. His servants succeeded him, each in his own dominion. After his death, they all put on crowns. Watch this. And they did as did their sons after them for many years. And they did much evil in the earth. See that? And there sprung from them a sinful shoot named Antiochus Epiphanes, son of King Antiochus. We still in line with what Daniel prophesied. Okay, and he had been a hostage in Rome, and he became king in the 137th year of the Greek kingdom. So let's look at that right there. There sprung from them a sinful shoot named Antiochus Epiphanes. The son, look at this, the son of King Antiochus. So if he's the son of King Antiochus, what that make him? If he's the son of a king, what? Okay, so let's go to Daniel 9:25, 26. He the king. He was in Rome. His daddy a king, but he a hostage in Rome. So Daniel 9:25. Let me get it. 26. So it says 26. And after 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off. The brother just said that. He said that Darius cut him off because he had to go check the records to see what Cyrus had made the decree in 925. So it says 26. And after 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince, it's the prince right here. I just read. Antiochus Epiphanes is the son of King Antiochus. He's a prince. So here you go. The people of the prince that shall come. Right. Who comes after the second beast? The Greeks, right? Greeks. Right? You go to prince right he's the son of a king. They go to prince right there. So look at this. So I'm back over here. So we looking for this guy right here just said something about a treaty for 7 weeks. And they trying to put it over there in the 70 years and all that and flip it around and make Jesus come to life. So it says, his servants succeeded him, each in his own dominion. After his death, they put on crowns and did their sons after them for many years, and they did much evil in the earth. We already know they're going to do evil because they from Cain. See, there sprang from them a sinful shoot named Antiochus Epiphanes, the son of King Antiochus. He had been a hostage in Rome, and he became king in the 134th year of the Greek kingdom. In those days, there arose out of Israel lawless men who persuaded many, saying, "Let us go up and make a treaty." They go to treaty. Ain't no treaty way, no 500 years later. Daniel telling you, you go to treaty, Daniel talking about. Let us go up and make a treaty with the heathen round about, for ever since the time we became separated from them, many misfortunes have overtaken us. Now listen to this. The plan seemed good in their eyes, and some of the people went eagerly to the king. What king? What king you talking about? I'm back in Daniel 9:20. I'm back in Daniel with Daniel prophecy. I'm in Daniel. It says, Daniel chapter 8. Daniel chapter 8, I'm in verse 20. The ram which thou sawest having 2 horns are the kings of the Medes and Persians. And the rough goat is the king of Greece. Antiochus Epiphanes is a Grecian. So, right. And the great horn that between his eyes is the first king. That was Alexander. We just read that in the Maccabees. Then a bunch of people followed Alexander and succeeded after him, did the same thing he was doing, killing people and despoiling and taking people land and stuff. And then he get down to the end of the Greek kingdom. Verse 20, Daniel 8:22 says, "Now that being broken, whereas 4 stood up for it, 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in its power. And in the latter times of their kingdom, they're still in the Greek kingdom at the end of it, when the transgressors are come to a king of fierce countenance, understanding dark sentences. I just read this. That's the king. Let's look at it. I'm over in First Maccabees, and it says, the plan seemed good, the treaty seemed good. This is a treaty, it's a 7-year treaty. The treaty seemed good in their eyes, and some of the people went eagerly to the king. There go the king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences right there. And he authorized them to introduce practices of the heathen, and they built a gymnasium in Jerusalem in the heathen fashion, and committed to uncircumcision, disowned the holy agreement, and they allied themselves with the heathen and became slaves to wrongdoing. Everything that Daniel said was gonna happen. Not way overdoing the Romans, right at the end of the third beast. You can't get out of that. They made a treaty. The king stood up with understanding dark sentences. The prince that shall come, and he calls Abomination of Desolation. Here you go right here. And when his rule appeared to Antiochus, this the prince and the king of fierce countenance to be established, he conceived the idea of becoming king of the land of Egypt. So that he might reign over 2 kingdoms. So he entered into Egypt with a strong force, with chariots and elephants and cavalry and a great fleet, and he made war on Ptolemy, king of Egypt. And Ptolemy turned and fled before him. Many fell wounded, and they captured the walled cities in the land of Egypt, and he plundered the land of Egypt. Now this, after subduing Egypt in the 133rd year, 3.5 years later, Antiochus turned back, came up against Israel, entered into Jerusalem with a strong force, and in his arrogance, he went into the sanctuary, took the gold, the altar, and the lampstand from the light and the furniture. This is the abomination of desolation right here. Everything Daniel said. So you can't keep on trying to reach over into the New Testament and trying to make all this stuff fit over there when it's all right here. Line upon line, precept upon precept. Right here in First Maccabees. Okay? Yeah, so I had to go into that to make all this other stuff fit. So so like I was saying before, the setting the setting of Daniel 9:25 is that Nebuchadnezzar came. First of all, Jeremiah came, told them Nebuchadnezzar was coming. The people from the north. Can't be looking for no people from the north now. It was the people from the north then, which was the Medes and Persians, then the Greeks came. So the setting is that Jerusalem was tore down, and the wall was broke down, and then let me read it. So it says, I'm in Jeremiah. Dang, not bad. Anybody got any comments right now while I'm looking for this? Okay, let me get it. Okay, give me a minute. Okay, let me get it right here. I'm gonna go with this. I know it's somewhere else, but I can read it right here. So it says, this is Jeremiah 39, verse 1. In the 9th year of Zedekiah, king of Judah, In the 10th month came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and all his army against Jerusalem, and they besieged it. And in the 11th year, Zedekiah, in the 4th month, in the 9th day of the month, the city was broken up, and all the princes of the king of Babylon came in, right? Then the king of Babylon slew the sons of Zedekiah and Real before his eyes. Also, the king of Babylon slew all the nobles. Moreover, he put out Zedekiah's eyes and bound him with chains to carry him to Babylon. And the Chaldeans burned the house. See that? Chaldeans burned the house, king's house, and the house of the people with fire, and break down the walls of Jerusalem. There it is. So the Chaldeans came, broke down the wall. So Daniel 9:25. Let me read it again. You can't be trying to go to the New Testament after it's been broke down. So 9:25. Nebuchadnezzar and Nebuchadnezzar broke down, burned all the houses up, and tore the wall down around Jerusalem. So they in Babylon, they had to go there for 70 years. Now we in Daniel 9:25. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to be restored. Restore what? What Nebuchadnezzar and Nebuchadnezzar tore down. They tore the wall down too. So he says, go forth the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem until the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks, 62 weeks, and the street shall be built again, and the wall. What wall? The one that Nebuchadnezzar and Nebuchadnezzar tore down.
Mm-hmm.
See that? So if that's the wall and the streets and the Jerusalem is the place, then who this Messiah is? Who the Messiah is that's in this verse? Because it can't be Jesus, because we see the chain of events.
Right.
It can't be him. So who is this Messiah? So that's what we go to. What is a Messiah? There we go.
Come on now. Come on now.
Okay, let me get this right quick. Okay, right here. There we go. What does a Messiah mean? It says Messiah comes from the Hebrew word Meshiach, and it means anointed one or chosen one. The Greek equivalent is Christos. Now we see where we get the Christ at, or in the English, Christ. See that name, Jesus Christ? It's the same as Jesus the Messiah. In biblical terms, anointing someone with oil was a sign that God was consecrating or setting apart that person for a particular role. Thus, an anointed one was someone with special God-ordained purposes. So, this question was posed a couple of classes ago, and they said exactly what was conveyed, telling you somebody that God chose, they're anointed. But also, what we know in Exodus, king and high priest got anointed. Every time we got a new high priest, he had to be anointed by Aaron's seed. The king had to be anointed. So we're gonna go right here, right quick. We in Exodus chapter 30, right quick. I'm just gonna show it to you so you know. I don't want you to think I'm constructing this on my own. So I'm in Exodus chapter 30, verse 22. Moreover, just go all the way back to Mount Sinai and Moses. Moreover, the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, take thou also unto thee principal spices of pure myrrh, 500 shekels, and of sweet cinnamon half as so much, even 250 shekels of sweet calamus, 250 shekels, and cashews 500 shekels after the shekel of the sanctuary, and olive oil, a hin, and thou shalt make an oil of holy anointment, ointment, a compound after the art of the perfume. Yeah, it's perfume, what it means. It shall be a holy anointing oil, and thou shalt anoint the tabernacle of the congregation therewith, and the ark of the testimony, tables and its vessels, and all the candlesticks and its vessels, and the altar of incense, and after that, and the altar of burnt offerings with its vessels, and the laver and the foot. So, what say? Why I'm reading this? Well, go back to when Nebuchadnezzar came. What did he do? He went into the temple and took all the furnishings and all the stuff out of the temple and took it where? To Babylon, right? Well, it's holy. See, you just told me the oil, they anointed all that. So who else went with all these vessels? The king. He ready, they all go together. The king and his sons, all of them go right with all this stuff go together. So what happened to cause the Babylonian Empire to fall by the Greeks? That the last king of Babylon went in there and got these vessels and had a party with them.
Right.
And the next morning was when Cyrus showed up. All this stuff was all the stuff inside the temple is holy. The Levites, the king, all that. That's what went to Babylon with him. So we see what a Messiah means. It means it's a Hebrew concept, Hebrew ideology, and the king got to be anointed, and the high priest got to be anointed. So with that understanding, we're going to go and look at what happened to David was anointed first. Let's look at that. King Saul came before him, but I'm going to read what happened to David first. So, I'm in 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel, chapter 16, verse 1. And it says, 16:1 says, and the Lord said unto Samuel, how long wilt thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill thine horn. This is the oil I just told you about. Fill thine horn with oil. The oil I just read in Deuteronomy 38. I mean, Exodus 30. Fill thine horn with oil. Go. I will send thee to Jesse, the Bethlehemite. He's from Bethlehem. It says, for I have provided me. See that? I have provided me a king. So the Lord of hosts is telling Samuel, I have provided me a king. So why is he saying that? Well, let's go look at when Saul got anointed. So we're in 1 Samuel chapter 10.
1 Samuel 10.
1 Samuel chapter 10. So says chapter 10, verse 1. Then Samuel took a vial of oil, the same oil, poured it upon his head and kissed him and said, is it not because the Lord have anointed thee to be captain over his inheritance? So I told you a while ago, I mean, I'm trying to connect these dots as many ways as I can. So I showed you the other day how they played with that word Lord of hosts. When the Lord of hosts was standing there talking to Joshua, they said captain, right? Now look right here.
Right.
Then Samuel took a vial of oil and poured it upon his head and kissed him and said, is it not because the Lord have anointed thee captain over his inheritance? So is Saul captain? Who the Israel belong? He Lord. Right. Ain't that what Abigail, when she got on the ground, said to David, Lord, my Lord?
Yeah.
And Bathsheba got on the ground and said, my Lord, because Michael is Lord of hosts in heaven over Most High stuff. And he came down here and he got Samuel to anoint his Lord of hosts over his people, over Israel. Yeah. Okay. So see how they playing with that word, Captain? I told you that. So anyway, I had to put that in there. So he anointed David, and he said that he chose David, right? So let's go back, and he just anointed Saul right here, right? But let's go back and see how Saul came into existence. I'm in chapter 9, 1 Samuel. No, not chapter 9. My bad. I'm in chapter 8. I'm in chapter 8. I'm gonna start at verse 1. And it came to pass when Samuel was old. Samuel was the last judge over Israel. It came to pass when Samuel was old that he made his sons judges over Israel. Now the name of his first son was Joel, and the name of the second was Abiah. They were judges in Bathsheba. And his sons walked not in the ways, but turned aside after lucre and took bribes and perverted judgment. Then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together and came to Samuel unto Ramah and said unto him, Behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now make us a king. See that? Make us a king to judge like all the nations. See that? So what is he talking about? Like I said before, they chose Saul. He just told Samuel, pull the all in the horn and go and anoint David, my Messiah. But the people chose Saul right here. See that? But the thing displeased Samuel. See that? When they said, give us a king, judge us. Now watch this. And Samuel prayed unto the Lord, right? He prayed to the Lord because the Lord is the king. So he says, and the Lord said unto Samuel, hearken unto the voice of the people in all that they say unto thee, for they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them, according to all the works which they have done since the day that I brought them up out of the land of Egypt unto this day, wherein they have forsaken me and served other gods, so they also unto thee. Now therefore hearken unto their voice, howbeit yet protest solemnly unto them, and show them the manner of a king that shall reign over them. And Samuel told all the words of the people told all the words to the Lord unto the people, and they asked him and said, this will be the manner of the king that shall reign over you, and he will take your sons and appoint them for himself for his chariots and be his horsemen, and some shall run before his chariots. And he will appoint him captains over thousands, captains over fifties, and will set them to ear his ground and to reap his harvest and to make his instructions of war and instruments of chariots. And he will take your daughters to be confectionaries and to be cooks and to be bakers. He went on down to 18, and ye shall cry out in that day because your king which ye shall have chosen. See that? They chose it. So say, king, you have chosen, and the Lord will not hear you. So at the end, when Saul started acting a donkey, Most High wasn't trying to hear nothing they had to say. So we're gonna keep going. 19. Nevertheless, the people refused to obey the voice of Samuel, and they said, nay, but we will have a king over us, and that we may be like all the nations, that our king may judge us and go out before us and fight our battles. So what are they talking about? Go to Deuteronomy right quick, chapter 2. Deuteronomy chapter 2. So we went over this several times. I'm connecting dots. So chapter 10, Deuteronomy chapter 2, verse 10. The Elam, see that? Dwelt therein in time past, a people great and many and tall as Anakim. So these is a race of giants. They got a king over them. He got a crown on his head. Go to verse 20. Take also that also was accounted as land of giants. Giants that dwelt therein in old times, and the Amorites called them Zezimuns. These Zezimuns got a king over them. He got a crown on his head. So when they was coming out of Egypt and they passing through these lands, they seen all these kings. So that's why they rejected the Lord of hosts. All they seen him do in Egypt, and they wanted a king over them like they saw when they passed through the land in the wilderness. And so he gave him that king. But the Lord of hosts turned around after that, and he chose a king, a Messiah. So why am I telling you all that? So the Lord of hosts says that he told Samuel, go in on David. I found me a king for me. So every king after David come out of David's loins. So David the only king that he chose. All the rest of them out of David's loins. They're a Messiah of a Messiah. The real Messiah is David. That's the Messiah, David. But the word Messiah only means the king out of David's lineage is anointed.
Right.
So why is he anointed? Let's look at it. Isaiah chapter 6. 9. Isaiah 9. This is why Isaiah 9 read the way it do, because the king is anointed. And he's over the Lord of hosts people. So I'm in Isaiah 9 and 6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. The government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Now, this is why he's called all this stuff in verse 6. 7. Of the increase of his government and peace, there shall be no end upon the throne of David, the Messiah. The one that Yahweh told Samuel to go anoint, he chose. That's his throne. And his sons is on David's throne and upon his kingdom to order it and establish it with judgment, henceforth, even and forever. So who's watching over this David throne? Because David did. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. He's an eternal being. He can't die. He's watching over David, everything that he promised David, he's watching over while David is resting.
Yes. Waiting to be resurrected.
Waiting to be resurrected. So now, with that understanding, okay, so like I said before, in 1 Samuel 16, verse 1, the Lord said he chose David. And then all the other messiahs, kings, and governors come out of David, the real Messiah. So then we saw how Saul was anointed, but Saul was chosen by the people, right? So now we back at Daniel 9:25. So who is this Messiah in Daniel 9:25? Well, we know it can't be David, so it's got to be somebody out of the lineage of David, right?
Right.
So let's look at it. So it says we identified the prince. We identified the prince in Daniel 9:26. We see it was Antioch Epiphanes. So who is this prince in Daniel 9:25? Let's look at it. Daniel 9:25. Let me get out of this, man. Okay, so I'm in Daniel 9:25, and it says, "Know therefore understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince." So here go a prince right here. That's in Jerusalem. So let's go to says, "Know therefore understand from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem, to rebuild Jerusalem and restore it from what the Chaldeans had done." So Cyrus, the one that came in and took over from the Chaldeans. So we're gonna go to Ezra right quick. Okay. Let me find it right quick. This is running from me.
Lena, who did you say took over from the Chaldeans?
Cyrus.
Okay.
I don't even see it. Hey, man, hold up. Man, it's crazy. Okay, I got it. Ezra chapter 1, verse 1. It says, "Now, in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom and put it in writing, saying, Thus said Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven have given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he have charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem." So there it is right there. Because Cyrus telling them, you can go back and rebuild what Nebuchadnezzar and Nebuzaradan that done.
Mm-hmm.
So then he keep on going, and he says, 5. Then rose up the chief fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests and the Levites, with all them whose spirit God had raised, to go up to build the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem. This line upon line with Daniel 9:25. And all they that were about them strengthened their hands with vessels of silver and with gold and with goods and beasts and with precious things, besides that was willingly offered. Also, Cyrus, king of Persia, brought forth a vessel. See that? We just read that the vessels was anointed.
Right.
The same oil that the king was anointed with. So the king getting ready to bring the Messiah, the king, because that's who the anointed one is. He's the Messiah. He's the king. So he had to go back with the vessels.
Right.
If the king came there with the vessels, so it's one got to go back with the vessels. So 7 says also Cyrus king brought forth the vessels of the house of the Lord, which Nebuchadnezzar had brought forth out of Jerusalem, and put them in the house of his God. Even those did Cyrus, king of Persia, bring forth by the hands of Mithra, the treasurer, and numbered them to Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah. There go the prince right there.
Right.
So why is his name Sheshbazzar? Because that's his captive name. So when you do the research, you find out his Israelite name is Zerubbabel.
Yeah.
Right? And then you say, what are you talking about? Well, they changed Daniel name to Belteshazzar. They changed Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego, gave them Hebrew Chaldean name. Right?
Right.
They changed our name. Didn't they change our name?
Yes, they did. You better come on. Yes.
Right. So Cyrus just made this proclamation right here and told them they can go back. That's all that's in Daniel 9:25. Then he said the Messiah he came out to this prince right here and gave him the all the vessels, the holy vessels. He gave them to him. So you say, well, why you what you talking about? So now I'm in Zechariah. And I told you, Zechariah, whoever this Messiah was, Zechariah and Haggai came back with him. So I'm in Zechariah. We're gonna see who it is. Zechariah chapter 4. It says, and the angel that talked with me came again and waked me as a man that is waking out of his sleep. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I said, I have looked, and behold, a candlestick of gold with a bowl upon the top of it, and its 7 lamps thereon, and 7 pipes to the 7 lamps, which are upon the top thereof, and 2 olive trees by it, one upon the right side of the bowl, and the other upon the other side of the bowl. When we first started this conversation, we identified it's 2 anointed ones in Jerusalem that has that oil that you get that's in Deuteronomy, Exodus chapter 30. It's the high priest and the king. And the king is out of David lineage. So verse 4 says, so I answered and spake unto the angel that talked with me, saying, what are these, my Lord? We know what they are, the 2 anointed ones. 5. Then the angel that talked with me answered and said unto me, knowest thou not what these be? And I said, no, my Lord. Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, this is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel, right? Saying, not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord of hosts. So who is this Zerubbabel? 7. Who art thou, O great mountain? Before Zerubbabel, thou shalt become a plain, and he shall bring forth the headstone thereof with shouting, crying, grace unto grace. What you do with a headstone? You put it on the corner of a building, on the corner of a temple.
Right. So
this Messiah in Daniel 9:25 got to go back to Jerusalem and restore and rebuild it and build the walls back up. So he tell you right here, this is gonna do it. Then verse 8 says, moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me saying, the hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation of this house. His hands also shall finish it, and thou shalt know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me unto you. For who have despised the day of small things, for they shall rejoice and see the plummet in the hands of Zerubbabel, which is Sheshbazzar, that Cyrus brought the vessels out and gave them to.
Mm-hmm.
With those 7, they are the eyes of the Lord which run to and fro in the whole earth. So we see from this breakdown right here, this had nothing to do with nobody in the New Testament, coming in the New Testament at all, right? So
Exactly.
ain't there something? So let's
That's
go.
something.
Yeah. So we see that. Okay, I told you that the Anointed One, the Messiah, the King, and Governor is all synonyms meaning the same thing. So we're gonna go to Haggai right quick because I'm going to Haggai because I showed you that Haggai and Zechariah came back with Zerubbabel from Babylon to fulfill his prophecy in Daniel 9:25. So I'm in Haggai. Then I'm opening up for Q&A for some questions. I'm in Haggai. Let me get it. So I'm in Haggai, chapter 2. So it says, I'm gonna start at chapter 2, verse 1 first. It says, in the 7th month, in the 120th day of the month, came the word of the Lord by the prophet Haggai, saying, "Speak to Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, governor." See that? Governor, king, and Messiah, the same thing. It says, governor of Judah. Just over in Ezra, we saw he was the prince of Judah. Now he's the governor of Judah. Same person. Governor of Judah, and to Joshua, the son of Jodak, the high priest, and to the residue of the people. That's the remnant that came back. So what the Most High revealing to us through Zechariah and Haggai is that Zerubbabel, the king, Haggai, the high priest, and the people that was taken away to Babylon 70 years earlier on their way back home. Right? So this Messiah, Zerubbabel. Then it says, verse 4 says, "Yet now, be strong, O Zerubbabel, says the Lord, and be strong, O Joshua, son of Zodak, the high priest, and be strong, all the people of the land, says the Lord, and the work, for I am with you, says the Lord." Right? What work? Let's go back to Daniel 9:25.
Rebuild the temple.
Yeah, Daniel 9:25. What work is he talking about? Like I said, I ain't write this. Daniel 9:25 says, Daniel 9:26, "And after 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off, but not for himself." Right? What he cut off from? The work the Most High just strengthened him on. What Zechariah just told you, he going back and lay the foundation and all that. So he was cut off. And then after he got cut off, the people of the prince that shall come, and Epiphany came. All this is what Daniel talking about. It's got nothing to do with the New Testament.
Nothing.
Whatsoever. So, like I was saying before, when you understand all this, same thing. We're in captivity now. You're saying that you're awakened as a Hebrew Israelite, and that you know you're a Hebrew Israelite. Well, you have to bring all this stuff into the equation too. So if we're in captivity now, and we see how this captivity unfolded, well, we wait on the king and the high priest doing our time. So you say, what are you talking about? Well, there goes another person that came back with Zerubbabel from Babylon. Is Hosea. Let's read it. Hosea chapter 3. 4 and 5 says, "For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king." That's what we are right now. And without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without a teraphim. We ain't got none of that. So afterwards shall the children of Israel return, seek the Lord their God, and David their king, and shall fear the Lord and his goodness in the latter days. So you can't fumble with that. He's telling you when it is, it's in the latter days. If you go back to Daniel 9:25 right quick, I'm in Daniel 9:25. Let's look at it. It says, "Know therefore, understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks, 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublesome times, in the latter days." It don't say nothing about no latter days. See that? So we
Right.
ain't just ain't a lot of days. But Hosea tell you when it's gonna happen. It's gonna be the king and the high priest gonna come back in a lot of days. They Pacific. But we can't read that because we're too busy trying to make everything, make the New Testament fit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna open it up for some Q&A, questions. Anybody got any questions or comment? Then we'll close out.
Okay. So Leonard, I just want to make sure that I'm understanding correctly. You said that David was the only one that was anointed, and then David was the only one that was actually anointed with the oil, and all of the other kings are by birthright, but they're not necessarily getting anointed, correct?
Yeah. No, all of them anointed, but David is like I was saying before. He told Samuel, go and get the oil and anoint David. He's my Messiah.
Right.
He told him where everybody else coming out of them, they're cut off of the Messiah.
Right.
But
so I'm saying
they still got to be anointed.
They still have to be anointed with the oil?
Right. It still got to be anointed with oil. But David is he telling you David is my Messiah. I told David. So that's the reason why all the other kings got to come out of his lineage.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Is there a place where Zerubbabel was anointed?
Yeah, I mean, you got to know he was anointed if he's on the throne. So look right here. I'm in Zechariah.
Okay.
So what you have to understand is they ain't gonna put that in there. That's what I'm saying. People
because they was trying to hide Zerubbabel. Okay.
Yeah, people don't understand that what the magnitude of what they done. And so then when, like I said, go back to the word indignation. When you understand what they done, you know what the Most High indignation is when he come back. Come on. So I'm in Zechariah. Chapter 4. Chapter 4. So the angel is asking the question. It's talking to Zechariah. I'm in verse 11. Then answered I and said unto him, what are these two olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick and upon the left side? That's the two anointed ones. And at the time, it's Zechariah. I mean, it's Zerubbabel and Joshua, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then 12. And I answered again and said unto him, what be these two olive branches which threw the golden pipes into the golden oil out in themselves? And he answered me and said, know not what these be? And I said, no, my Lord. Then he said, these are the two anointed ones. If they're anointed ones, that mean they was oil put on them.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
That stand by the Lord of the whole earth. So that's the king and the high priest.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you go back to Haggai right quick, just for GP, you go to Haggai. And then Haggai says, I was just reading it. He says in Haggai chapter 2 and verse 1, in the 7th month, in the 1 and 20th day of the month, came the word of the Lord by the prophet Haggai saying, so the Lord of hosts, telling Haggai, speak to Zerubbabel, the son of Sethel, governor of Judah, and Joshua. These are two anointed ones. So son of Josiah and the high priest, and to the residue of the people, saying, who is left among you that saw this house in the first glory, and how you see it now? Is it not in your eyes in the comparison of it as nothing? Then 4, yet be strong, O Zerubbabel, said the Lord, and be strong, O Joshua, son of Zodek, the high priest, and be strong. So he's talking to his two anointed ones right there.
Mm-hmm.
Strengthening them. So Zechariah chapter 6. Zechariah chapter 6 says, chapter 6, verse 9 says, the word of the Lord came unto me saying, now he's talking to Zechariah, to these same two anointed ones, take up them of the captivity Tobadiah, these Levites, and Judah, which shall come from the Babylon, come thou the same day and go into the house of Josiah, son of Zephaniah, then take silver and gold and make crowns. See that?
Mm-hmm.
And set them upon their head. If you set it on their head, you anointed them.
Okay.
Set upon their head, the head of Josiah, son of Zephaniah, the high priest, and speak unto him. So he say, put one of these crowns on Joshua's head, and then lean over his ear and speak to him, and thus it says, thus saith the Lord of hosts, saying, behold, the man whose name is the branch, he shall grow up out of his place, he shall build a temple of the Lord. That's the root builder.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, all right.
All right, and then my other question is, as we await the return of the Lord of hosts to regather us, we're not looking for a king and a priest to be brought forth out of the diaspora. We're waiting for the return and the resurrection of David, right?
David and Elijah.
Okay. Okay.
That's the two anointed ones that coming back in the latter days.
Okay. So that's gonna be, that is the king and the priest that we're waiting on.
Right.
Okay.
It's all one package. The Lord of hosts, the king and the high priest, all same package. They all go together. That's the way it's always been.
Okay.
Right. So let's look at that though, right quick, because people can understand that. So I'm in 2 Samuel. We got about 10 minutes. So I'm in 2 Samuel chapter 7. So I said that that's been in place, but like I said, you can't see it because you're trying to make the New Testament fit into the program. So I'm in 2 Samuel chapter 7 verse 1. It says, and it came to pass when the king, that's David, sat in his house, and the Lord had given him rest round about from all his enemies, that the king said to Nathan the prophet. They go to two anointed ones right there.
Mm-hmm.
See that? Nathan the prophet. So it says it came to pass when the king, David, sat in his house, and the Lord, the Lord, had given him rest round about from all his enemies, that the king said unto Nathan. They go all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
So ain't nothing new under the sun. So that's the order that's in place when Israel was in existence. That was dispersed when Antioch Epiphanes came.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I just read that he said Hosea chapter 3, 4, and 5 that we're gonna abide for a long time without a king.
Right.
And without a high priest. And that's what we are right now.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
And so we're waiting on David and Elijah because of what he said in Malachi.
Right. And he also tells you all through the scriptures, he's gonna in 37, he's gonna bring David back. He's gonna resurrect David. Right. So yeah.
Okay, Gunnar, this is my last question for real. What was Enoch's title?
Melchizedek.
Okay.
He's the first one.
All right.
Passed on down all the way to Shem and Abraham. So anybody else got anything?
Yeah, there's been a lot of deaths in those Zulu tribes. I'm wondering if they killing them off trying to get to David's lineage. Or thinking that that's who they are.
Can you low?
I said there's been a lot of deaths in that Zulu family, and
I was watching it.
Yeah, the thing that came to my mind is I was wondering if they trying to get to David, thinking that that's somehow they're related to David.
Okay, yeah.
That's just a question I was just wondering.
Yeah. I heard back when the Most High first I started dealing with this. I was like I said, those people know who we are, all the way down to the house of David, all that they know. So they were saying how how David's daughters looked it, And so they were saying that they had a ship that came into New Orleans, the port of New Orleans, and the word that got around all the colonies and the plantations who those ladies was, and they bum rushed New Orleans, trying to get down there to get some of those daughters. It's from out the house of David. I had heard that, but there's a trick to it though. That's where when I was telling you about the things that was happening, I was working in New Orleans, and Hurricane Katrina had happened, and I was at this we was all over New Orleans fixing stop signs and doing all kind of stuff, cleaning the roads, and I was at this intersection, and I was if you know about the scriptures and the Levites and the high priests and all them, the Most High said, just like with the animals that being sacrificed, they got to be perfect. The animal can't have no blemishes on them. It got to be a perfect sacrifice. You have no blemishes. So same thing with the Levites. He said no man can't come in there before him with no long big ears or big nose, none of that. He had to be perfect. That's the reason they looked the way they did. The reason David looked like he did. So I was when he was just dealing with me about that, and I had my head down at the light waiting for it to change, and I looked up and I looked around and seen all them brothers standing up there. None of them had they had full head of hair.
Wow.
They had gray hair, full head of hair, and I was like, wow, man, I couldn't even. I just ran into the gas station in the bathroom because I couldn't handle it. I was like, wow, this is crazy, man. And so that's how everything was going on with me. I got to the point where I'm at. And I was like, wow, I'm looking around, and you ain't paying attention to none of that stuff. They were so thrown off that we ain't doing nothing. We're not analyzing stuff like that. I was like, wow, so that's what this all about. Yeah. Ain't that something?
Question. Oh, go ahead.
Now, I don't know if you've seen this or not. There's a video talking about who the Kishites.
Right.
You see all that hair on their head?
Right.
I was wondering though, because Cush is Ham.
Right. Those are they tied to Cush and Ham is tied to Ethiopia. Cush is tied to Ethiopia.
Yeah, because what I was thinking was that do they know who they're talking about, or I don't know. But anyway,
yeah. So Cush was one of those. The Ethiopians was one of those races of people that the king of Assyria went and got and put in the land of Israel. One of the tribes. One of those, when he replaced the Israelites, when he took them to Assyria, the Ethiopian was one of those tribes that he put in one of those lots.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
And that's a big deception to a lot of people too. They ain't understanding that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so that's why they look like that. Okay.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. They brown skin. They copper color.
Right.
Yeah. So I was gonna. You had something else?
I'm good.
Okay. Yeah. So I was gonna read this here. It always says that David was a man after the Lord's own heart, right?
Right.
So when you analyze that and look at it, it's David got a sword, right?
Right.
Lord Host got a sword. So that's what that's talking about. David is a man of war, and the Lord Host is a man of war. Right?
Right.
So we'll go another one to add to that. This is Zephaniah chapter 3. It's probably gonna shock and amaze you, but if you go to chapter 3, Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 17, David wrote the Psalms. All them Psalms are songs. David can sing. So this is a prophecy of Jerusalem being the ultimate supremacy of Israel in the latter days. So verse 16 says, in that day it shall be said to Jerusalem, fear thou not, and to Zion, let not thy hand be slack. Then 17, the Lord thy God in the midst of thee. So he back.
Yeah.
In the midst of thee is mighty. He will save. He will rejoice over thee with joy. He will rest in love, and he will joy over thee with singing.
Mm.
Come on now. Ain't that something?
Yes.
So he gonna be so glad that Israel back. He gonna bust out singing.
And we gonna join in.
Right. Okay.
I had another since you shared that thing about David, you explained that a man after God's own heart, he's a man after the Lord of hosts' heart, right? Because the Lord of hosts is his Lord, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Lord, the host got sword. Got sword.
Right. And so when you share that and you think about it, it's almost like a little son. Like if the son's father is a blacksmith, then to say that the son is after the father's heart, the son is following in his footsteps.
Right. Exactly.
And so David as a man of war, and David as having a sword, you know, he wants to please the Lord of hosts because he knows that his Lord has a sword.
Right, exactly. Right. And that's what the people are understanding about that situation is that just like with a son, you know, in the lifetime of that son growing up under that father, he make mistakes.
Yeah.
So David tells us and at the very end, let me read it. This is what people is going over their head. That's why they want to latch on to Jesus, because they're saying David did all this and he did that. Jesus was sinless. So I'm in 2 Samuel 23. Let me get it. So this at the end of this is David's at the end of David's life. He says 22 and 19 says 20 and 20. He brought me forth in a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. The Lord rewarded me according to my righteousness, and according to my cleanliness of my hands have he recompensed me. It says, for I have kept the ways of the Lord, and I have not wickedly departed from my God. For all his judgments were upon before me, and as for his statutes, I did not depart from them. I was also upright before him, and I have kept myself from my iniquities. Therefore the Lord have recompensed according to my righteousness and according to my cleanliness in his eyesight. So he's saying through the process of his life, he learned not to go to the left or the right. He learned how to deal with the Lord of hosts.
Yes.
So in his latter days in his life, he knew just what to do to please the Lord.
Yeah.
That's how he died. That's what he's telling you.
Yes, Leonard, and also, you know, it's just like us today. Well, first of all, so many. I have heard several men try to justify, you know, kind of walking crooked because they say what David did. But
Right.
what you understand is when you make a mistake or you walk crooked and you in relationship with the Lord of hosts and you follow the guidelines of how to get back in his good grace, that's a whole different story. And like you say, when Nathan came, when the Lord of hosts spoke to Nathan and told Nathan to go tell David what he had done, and David realized he fell on his face.
Right.
And that makes all the difference. David wasn't just going around, you know, trying to walk crooked and jack-legged just for the fun of it. Like you say, he made mistakes. We all make mistakes, you know what I'm saying? But they would say, well, you know, David ain't Bathsheba. They don't, you know what I'm saying? They take it out of context.
Right. It's the same when they trying to make the New Testament fit. It's the same thing. So David addressed that right here in 2 Samuel 23. Now these be the last words of David, the son of Jesse. We'll read that again. These be the last words of David. David, the son of Jesse, said, and a man who was raised up on high, the anointed, that's the Messiah of God. See that? Messiah of God, of Jacob, and the sweet psalmist of Israel said, here we go, the Spirit of the Lord spake by me. This is what I was talking about the other day, that people not understanding what's going on when those prophets come to the gate or come somewhere to prophesy to somebody. Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, take over. He's speaking through them. David telling you that right here. The Spirit of the Lord spake by me, and his words was in my tongue. See that?
Yeah.
And the God of Israel said, the Rock of Israel spake to me. He that ruleth over man must be just, ruling in the fear of the Lord. So that's why David fall on the ground. The Spirit already in him. So when the condemnation come, he already know it. He dropped on. He automatically repent.
Right.
Yeah. That's the difference of him and a lot of his sons.
Right. And I think one thing that needs to be noted also, Leonard, you don't hear about David falling with no other woman, just that one. You understand me?
Right.
So it's like, it's not his lifestyle.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Anybody else have anything? Try to get this in right quick.
That David and Elijah.
There's a documentary.
Somebody was talking.
Oh.
No, that was just huge for me. That connect the dots.
Okay.
Man, that was huge. I never knew who the high priest was going to be. I knew we were to seek David, but now I know Elijah. So that's
right. That's the reason Elijah didn't die. He preserved Elijah for the end.
Right. I see it a lot different now. It makes sense. Yes.
Right. So that's Elijah got to come to when he resurrect our forefathers. Elijah is the person in between the two to bring them back, to bring the children that's alive now and the ones he resurrected back together. That's the purpose.
Powerful.
Right.
That's powerful. Yeah. Love it. Right. Appreciate it.
Okay. What you saying?
I was saying there's a documentary on cable or whatever kind of cable you have, but it's called An Artificial Reality.
Okay.
It's worth watching.
Like the Truman Show.
It's very similar.
Right.
But this goes all the way back, Leonard, to the origin of what we call tradition. And tradition is actually the secret societies, and what we call reality is only what has been told to us. So for me, it goes right along with how you have been admonishing us to think like a Hebrew.
Right.
Okay, in the land of our captives, we have to we have to really endeavor to think differently than what they're saying our reality is.
Right.
And that show, An Artificial Reality, is deep. It's real deep, but it goes right along with what you have been telling us.
Right. Exactly. It's just like come to find out now, it's it's Israelites all over Africa. They've been there. You know what I'm saying? That shows you the depth of the deception they got on us. Is Israelites been all over Africa. They all over, been there.
Right.
Man, yeah. So yeah, it's all good. So let me see, somebody got something in the private chat. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So with that being said, anybody else got anything? Okay, let me get this in right quick and then we're gonna. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna see y'all on Friday evening at 7 o'clock.
Okay, shalom, family.
Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
Shalom.